The Scholarship Secretariat has drawn up a while awaiting admission to tertiary institutions. The registrar for the Scholarship Secretariat, Mr. Kingsley Ajiman, announced this in Tamale in the northern region during a selection interview for scholarship applicants in the region. He said the Secretariat has earmarked 80 million Ghana students in the upcoming academic year.
About 12,000 applicants made up of first, second and third year students from tertiary institutions in the northern region were at the interview. The institutions said the application process has been decentralized, with interviews now taking place in the country, and that the Secretariat has earmarked 80 million Ghana cedis to disburse this year.
Scholarship is supposed to be meritorious.
About the condition of refugees globally, it is to drum home the need for tolerance, mutual respect and respect for diversity. The devastation of COVID-19 globally counts.
As an international community, because you see some countries are their neighbors or not, and so the international community has to stand in solidarity, and back in December 2018 they passed what they call the Global Compact on Refugees to support refugee hosting countries, to ease the pressure on them to be able to not only meet the needs of their people, the hosts, those who are hosting refugees, but also the refugees, the numbers that have come into their communities. There isn't enough to go around. We have gone from just looking at traditional donors, who have always given assistance to developing countries, to the private sector. I think we have to look for other sources. Like you said, the Agenda 2030. Nobody should be left behind, and neither should refugees or anybody for that matter.
The Director General in charge
The Director General of Welfare of the Ghana Police Service, COP Mamitiwa Adudankwa, said the police created 2 isolation centers at the Adentan and railway cells where suspects who tested positive are kept for treatment. She said all cases are asymptomatic and there are no critically ill cases. COP Adudankwa, who doubles as the chair PPE to all suspects in police custody. Most of the police officers who tested positive have also recovered. COP Mamitiwa Adudankwa urged benevolent organizations and individuals to support the police with protective gears to help the personnel effectively fight the pandemic. The 45 batch of senior police, known as Course 45 Senior Police Officer SPO, on Friday morning presented PPE at a cost of 25,000 Ghana cedis to the police administration as part of their contribution to the service to help in the fight against COVID-19.
The Embassy of China has donated some medical supplies and nutritional foods.
The University of Ghana Medical Center is one of the major health centers at the forefront of the fight against COVID-19. The $80,000 worth of supplies included 15 ventilators, 60 nose masks, 20,000 medical masks, 1,695 masks, 120 protective suits, 100 medical goggles, and nutritional supplements. China's ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Shi Tingwen, said this year marks the 60th anniversary of the beginning of diplomatic relations between Ghana and China, and hopes the supplies can help Ghana win the fight against COVID-19 soonest. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ebenezer Odro-Usu, described the timing as appropriate. The Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Bernard Okuboy, said government is working hard to help flatten the curve and appealed to the public to play their part by obeying the protocols in place to stop the spread. He appealed for some more support for the Ministry of Health in these trying times.
And the Latter-day Saints Charities has donated an OCT machine to the Save the Night Sight Clinic in Accra.
The human eye is an organ that reacts to light in many circumstances as a conscious sense organ, including color differentiation and the perception of depth. The human eye can distinguish about 10 million colors. The retina is a thin layer of tissue that lines the back of the eye on the inside. It is located near the optic nerve. The purpose of the retina is to receive light that the lens has focused, convert the light into neural signals, and send these signals on the brain for visual recognition. Ghana demonstrated her commitment to prevent blindness by signing on to the Global Declaration of Support to Vision 2020, the right to sight, in October 2000. Over the past few years, the country has signed up some key international development targets, such as the just-ended Millennium Development Goals. In 2015, a national population-based study was conducted to estimate the causes, magnitude and distribution of available blindness and visual impairment among different age groups. The study estimated that 0.74% of people living in Ghana were blind from all causes. This data has helped to develop effective strategies to ensure quality and access to universal eye care to the vulnerable in society. Established 10 years ago, the Save the Nation's Sight Clinic has provided eye care to lots of people in deprived societies, especially in the Ayawaso West. To augment its mandate, the clinic requested for an OCT machine to aid its work. This received positive response from the Latter-day Saints charity. The founder of Save the Nation's Sight Clinic, Dr. Thomas Ba, said the OCT machine will help the clinic to better diagnose problems relating to the retina and not refer patients to other equipped hospitals as previously done. The Latter-day Saints charities in the past years has donated ophthalmic equipment, slit lamps and surgical microscope to the clinic. Today, the humanitarian wing of the Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints, the LDC Charities, has donated an OCT machine to the Save the Nation Sight Clinic. The humanitarian manager, Mr. Mahmoud Labingo, said the gesture is a contribution from the members of the church. Dorothy Ajimai, GBC News, Accra.
It's GTP,
The name behind authentic and original Ghanaian textile
segment, and I am Dorothy Achimai. In our first story, the National Board for Small Scale Industries, NBSSI, managers of the Ghana Stimulus Package Kabas, has announced a 6-day extension of the deadline for applications from 20th June to 26th June 2020. This is to give ample time to persons who are finding it difficult to submit their applications via online. As at Thursday, 18th June 2020, over 45,000 applicants, representative of this number, had successfully completed their SD code on 41.2%, represents registrations done directly on the web portal. The Executive Director of National Board for Small Scale Industries, NBSSI, Mrs. Kosiyanki Aye, said the board and the steering committee are currently analyzing the data to get a better understanding of the challenges.
We wanted to disburse this week, but going through the data for the first set, we realized that we wanted to address as soon as possible. And also with information that had come in from some of the associations, as much as possible, assist them to rectify it and strengthen the association and the database that we had to ensure that the right people get the funds that were earmarked for them, and that the right amount of funds which were earmarked for the people who are in the micro, small and medium enterprises received what was due. Our focus is inclusivity and not exclusivity. And as much as possible, every step of the way, the process has been to ensure that all the people, all Ghanaian MSMEs,
to get extra IT personnel for NBSSI to train them to facilitate data entry for its members. Mrs. Kosiyanki Aye mentioned some of the challenges facing some applicants.
The data analysis allowed us to detect those who were using fraudulent tin, those who were using fraudulent phone numbers, because we go back and check, those who were also did a second level of investigation. And so it makes the process longer than you would think, because we then now have to identify, if you are using the same phone number, what is the reason behind that?
The Coronavirus Alleviation Program Business Support Scheme, CAPBAS, negatively affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Moving on, Ghana's agriculture sector contributed 21.01% to the 2018 total export earnings, making it the second highest contributor for that year. To ensure that the country builds up on such a growth, an orientation program on agriculture exports has been organized for 20 selected participants by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, GEPA, in Accra.
Data from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture indicates that the average farming age in the country is 55 years. This has been a contributory factor to the reason why many of Ghana's arable lands are not cultivated. To change this scenario, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, in collaboration with the Youth Employment Agency, launched the Youth and Export Program YIEP last year. The program is to attract Ghanaians with emphasis on the youth into farming and the export of agriculture produce, the first action and export opportunities in the agriculture sector. The Chief Executive of the
supporting startups in the agri sector, we are also leveraging on technology to deliver on efficiency.
The 20 participants were selected out of an initial 67 applicants for the 2-day orientation. They will be posted afterwards to various farmer exporters across the Eastern, Volta, Central and Greater Accra regions for 6 months. The 6 months hands-on training is to enable the participants learn the best farming practices as well as the principles required for the exportation of farm produce to cash in from markets both in the sub-region and around the world.
The Upper East region, the price of poultry feed. Currently, a 50-kilogram bag of soya beans is selling at 200 Ghana cedis, while the Olonka is selling at 7 cedis. In this report, our correspondent Samuel Ayama takes a look at the cultivation of soya beans in the northern parts of the country and its impact on poverty reduction among smallholder farmers.
Soya bean is increasingly becoming an important cash crop. Soya bean can also improve soil fertility when intercropped or grown in rotation with cereals, with the advantage of reducing the need for nitrogen fertilizers for subsequent maize crops. Over 10,000 smallholder farmers in northern part of the country now cultivate soya beans alongside other food crops. Kwatanga Market spoke with GBC News.
Last two markets now 185. And now about almost 200.
Meanwhile, players at the poultry industry say soya beans is an excellent source of protein and energy for poultry. However, the raw grain contains certain anti-nutritional factors that inhibit productivity, and as a result, prior heating is required. The processing conditions, especially those relating to the milling size, the use of steam, the temperature, and the pressure applied, in addition to the process duration, all influence the goodness of the final product and define its nutritional value to a large extent, in addition to defining advisable levels of use in commercial diets. Adult birds appear to be less sensitive than younger ones to the anti-nutritional factors present in the bean. However, it is necessary to heed these prior to their use, whatever the case. Speaking with GBC News, the CEO of Adeliwe Integrated Farms, Ignatius Sewe, who is visually impaired, said
a bag of soybean as 140 cedis. But over the period, just within this year, I think it shot up about 3 soybeans. And it's key because without soybean, you will not get good performance. And honestly,
it's meant to invest in the cultivation of soya beans.
In this segment, on the interbank markets, the US dollar is trading at 5 cedis 65 pesos, the pound sterling at 7 cedis against the local currency, and
mission is to prosecute people who import banned refrigerators into the country. Refrigerators from the communication equipment and used fridges. The items all fall short of LI 1932 that regulates the importation of the appliances for commercial purposes. In the presence of the media, the items were destroyed to prevent scavengers from retrieving some of them. A Chief Revenue Officer, Communication and Public Affairs at the GRA, Mr. Johnson Yankee, explained why it has become necessary for the action.
This destruction exercise is something that we do periodically, not only in Accra, all over the country. When we arrest goods that are not good for human consumption, the alternative is to destroy them here.
An inspector in charge of energy efficiency at the Energy Commission, Mr. Hubert Zahn, said although the law prohibits people from importing these fridges, they still do. According to him, the new strategy is to prosecute the importers after confiscating their items.
Seizing these items when the person has paid freight and everything is a deterrent on its own because you are losing. Number two, what we have to do is to further prosecute people if they need be, because it looks like we haven't prosecuted anyone in terms of importation of used fridges, but we have seized the consignment, which is a whole burden on these people. And I think the next stage will have to be arresting them if they need be, because the law states clearly what we should do.
From the dump site, the second-hand refrigerators will be sent to Energy Commission space at Afienya for destruction. Away from that story, a systems operation director at the Ghana Grid Company, Mr. Mark Barr, is advising the public to conserve energy. He says that is how Gridco can continue to distribute. According to Mr. Barr, energy conservation can ensure quality, national security, personal financial security, and higher savings. Currently, the government is absorbing 50%, whilst Lifeline consumers get a complete free ride. Also,
energy, and particularly electricity. So it is our responsibility as citizens of the country to ensure that
was a corpse of a Ghanaian young lady. Though the cause of her death is yet to be made public, some of her compatriots attribute her death to the bad treatment meted out to them while they served as domestic workers in Lebanon. Akuya Mold was one of the evacuees from Lebanon. Prior to her departure to Lebanon in September 2019, she was teaching at a private school in Kumasi.
Me call Mirie Agri Training College. Intina me to me try there. Na Ghana then foreign then ensure let them run because amuni Ghana tree yawo embassy onum. Ufrea inform say obewo say obeye den o. Enye easy wo.
She said her 8-month sojourn in Lebanon was not only a period of abuse, but also endured pain and agony. Though she went to Lebanon to make money, she ended up always asking her parents back home to send her money for her sustenance.
Oh sorry anopana. Odi anopa just enyumre oni di biem na ye de adwuma 3000 na ye bo na ye tint tesiogu weni aya omo da mo sorry ntem omo na ya unso na ye what sorry 6 no we over that is how much it is.
The middleman between 2,500 Ghana cedis to 60,000 Ghana cedis to secure passage from Accra to Lebanon. Regret is even understatement.
No me ka Germany na meko be boy no ye maame no Okacha me say Lebanon ye Europe country. Nti ma me gi ni di because I am a classmate me ne die ya pa se me nua Ghana ni pa obeka se wufi ya pa se ko Lebanon de me ntu fo sa because ya me my experience kakra me nya me madam ba na ope me ne me ada ma me bo me madam na mane na bo me dan wo fie ho de nyame nko anenim.
Me call me first house o man to America.
You can sell pure water here and survive. You can sell anything to survive, but to go to Lebanon is not advisable.
There was another group of 5 young men among the evacuees who were in Lebanon studying, but due to the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, had been compelled to return home. All the 211 passengers had been screened and taken to an isolation center for the mandatory 2-week quarantine. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.